A big concern for parents right now is thinking about what the fall might look like when their students go back to school, or will they?
It almost seems like you can't enjoy the summer because you want to start pre-planning just in case. We don't know how this is going to go. So many are wondering if their kids will actually be able to go back to class or if this remote learning will continue. We wanted to get some insight from parents, so here's what a few of you had to say. All right, so Katie Cheryl, she says that even though her kids are homeschooled, they still attend some classes and co-ops. She says they miss their community and she hopes classes will start to be held in person again soon. Tracy thinks schools will have to really think outside the box to get kids back in the classroom. It could involve keeping classroom sizes low, especially when you're talking about the little ones.
Kathy also jumping in to say if going back to school means that her child will have to stay in one seat all day and have a mask on, she's not going to send her child back. Really interesting because people and parents feel so strongly, but they feel so strongly, Aisha, on two different sides of this equation. So schools are in the middle trying to figure out what the best scenario is going to be. Not just the best, but the safest too, Aisha.
Yeah, and when you think about safety, the number one thing is you're going to talk about masks. We know those little ones are not going to keep that mask on for any extended period of time. Yeah. They love hugging. They miss each other, so they're going to want that physical touch. So I think it's going to take quite some time for us to really figure out, how this is going to look across the board. Our Caitlin Ross has been following plans from different districts as they work through what to do in the fall. Today, she spoke to the Associate Superintendent for Gwinnett County Schools, the largest district in the state.
I think it's kept everybody up at night.
This is personal for Gwinnett Associate Superintendent Steve Flint.
I myself have students in the school system and a senior graduating. I know that's been very difficult for many families.
He's been in meetings nonstop trying to figure out a plan to reopen the largest school district in the state come August. He says they've laid out three possibilities: coming back in person, continuing virtual learning, or trying to do a mix of both.
I think we have some very good plans moving forward. We do need to wait on guidance, obviously, from our health partners and from our legislature, and even looking at where the budget's going to be next year.
He says their preference is to bring everyone back in person. Digital learning just isn't the same.
We need to make sure that every student is maximizing their potential. That's very difficult if you don't have access to meet with families and meet with children one-on-one.
And their summer session starts in just a few short weeks. He says they'll spend it making difficult decisions about what school will look like during a pandemic.
I don't think there are any perfect answers here. We are going to make some decisions that are probably not going to be extremely popular. And if we have to make some adjustments, we may have to make some adjustments along the way. I think everybody is willing to do that, and I think everybody's been very resilient up until this time.
They're hoping to make a decision about their summer session by June 10th, and then a larger decision about the 2021 school year they'd hopefully have by the end of June.
Caitlin, there is so much to think about here, so many different opinions. Are they taking feedback from parents and teachers, and are they taking that into consideration when they make their decision?
Yes, they're hoping to send out a survey by the end of the week to get input from teachers, parents, students, especially on those concern points, like how do you get 70 kids on a bus to socially distance? We'll talk about that coming up at 6.